Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Elle.K here for another video, and today I'm going to be taking you guys through my top 10 books that I am very excited to purchase for the first half of 2022. Let's get into it. Alright, so if you haven't seen my New Year's resolution goals video, I will link it somewhere at the top. But essentially I talk about my book buying habits and how I need to kind of curve that. But essentially, the gist of it is I am drastically scaling back how much books I purchase. So the rule that I've set for myself is I can only buy one book for every 2 books that I read. So it's like a 2-for-1 type of special here. It's very, very hard to follow, but I have followed it so far this year. Mind you, we're only on day 16, what day is it? And I haven't bought a single book for the year. I'm very proud of myself. So I definitely really want to try and stick with that rule and just really focus on the books that I have and the ones obviously that I haven't read but own to kind of knock down my overall physical TBR. I've gotten to a point where I have more books that I haven't read than I have read, so I need to definitely work on fixing that this year. So that's my book buying rule for myself, which is why I've narrowed this list down to 10, because I would have to read 20 books in order to get all 10. So yeah, that's what we're doing. That's the rule that I have for myself. I will have a picture of the book somewhere along here. All these books are coming out between, some of them, I think 2 of them are already out, and then the rest of them are coming out between now and June. But I think my latest one that I have here is coming out in like March. So these are books that are going to be coming out pretty soon. I'm excited for all of them, but I'm going to have to wait to buy them because I need to read more. So here we are. The first book that I have on my list, I have my phone here, that's why I'm looking down, but the first book I have on my list is going to shock all of you because it's a horror book and I would like to read it because the movie is coming out and I actually want to see the movie. Are you ready for it? Are you ready? Okay, so it's The Black Phone by Joe Hill. Now, we know on this channel that I do not mess with horror, okay? I watched The Gremlins for the first time like 2 days ago with my fiance, and there were parts where I was like, you know, that I might dream about that later. That's not okay type of thing. Like, I really don't mess with horror at all. So the fact that I want to get this book is even shocking myself, but I saw a trailer for the movie and the movie seems as though it's going to be more thriller-ish than horror. Now, I could be terribly wrong. If somebody that is watching this has read The Black Phone, please let me know in the comments down below if it is more horror or thriller-esque. But essentially what happens is I believe it's little boys or just little children in general keep going missing in this small town, and it's been happening for, I believe, over the course of like 2 or 3 decades. And this little boy gets kidnapped and is put in a room with nothing but what seems to be a disconnected telephone. But it rings at night, and when he answers it, it's the voices of all the children who have been abducted before, and they're trying to help get him out. So that's why I feel as though it's more thrillery than horror-ish. Now, I should also preface, I guess I can handle horror where there isn't like some sort of no, you know what? That's a lie. Don't even let me say that. I can't handle horror at all. So we'll see how this goes, essentially. This should be very interesting. I might not sleep for a little bit later. The next book that I have is not a horror, but it is a Marvel one, and that's Morbius. So it's I'm gonna read a comic, guys. No, it's a new graphic novel / comic that's coming out for Morbius, the first living vampire thing. That is coming out January 25th, I believe. I'm gonna pick that up as well. And yeah, it's literally just, I guess, the origin story of Morbius. There's also the movie coming out for that in February that I really do want to see, which is why I'm getting the graphic novel for it. There is also a Marvel made novel for it, but I figured I would just read the graphic novel because it's, hold on. Hello? Bye. Sorry, that was my mother. I was like, why would I read the novel for it when I could just read the graphic novel and have that be a whole experience? So that's what we're gonna do for Morbius. I am very excited about this one. The next one that I have, why do I have so much like horror thriller on this list? What is wrong with me? I clearly don't value my life in 2022. Good Lord. But the next one that I have is It Will End Like This, and that is by Kyra Lee. That's really pretty. I like the name Kyra. But this is essentially a Lizzie Borden retelling or reimagining. So 2 sisters, their mom passes away, but they don't believe it's by the way that their by the way that her doctor says it is, and her father remarries very quickly to the late mom's assistant, so they're kind of doing a little investigation themselves. The cover of it, there's some blood and bruises on both these girls' faces, so I assume this is gonna get hectic real quick, but I am excited for this because the story of Lizzie Borden, everybody knows it. It's quite interesting, so I'm curious to see how they've made this into a YA fashion. The next one that I have here is All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir. I've not read any of her books before, which is awful, but this one is outlined. There's a lot of stuff that happens in this book. I believe it also takes place very, very closely after 9/11 and just being Muslim in America at that time, as well as there's trigger warnings for abuse, maybe sexual assault, and something else. A lot takes place. It's a fiction, obviously. It's a contemporary, but it's like a very realistic one. I don't know if it's based somewhat on her life or not, but yeah, that's essentially what it is. I don't know a ton going into it, and that's fine with me. I do really want to pick this one up. I would like to pick up some book by her, honestly, and actually read it, because she just seems like a phenomenal author from everything that I've watched and all the reviews that I've watched, and just listening to her interviews and stuff like that, like, she just seems really cool. So I do want to grab this one. The next one that I have is Nothing Burns as Bright as You by Ashley Woodfolk. This is a book written in verse. You guys know I love my books written in verse here. I largely favor Elizabeth Acevedo. I think she does verse beautifully, but there are some other authors, obviously, that do verse very, very well. This is following two girls who are best friends and develop feelings for each other. So I feel like that's just going to be beautifully done. And the whole cover is giving me like the sunset vibe that I'm currently watching, and I just really like that. So that's a nice aesthetic. The next one that I have here is And We Rise. Again, another beautiful cover. Oh my goodness, the cover art is slapping in 2022, guys. You cover artists out there, you guys are killing it. This is by Elle.K. Martin, and as it says in the corner, it is literally the civil rights movement written in poems. So different moments in the civil rights movement have been put into poems, and I'm very, very excited about that. I am pretty well versed in the civil rights movement, and I love poetry books. I love books written in verse, so I'm very excited for this one as well. This comes out in February, and I'm really hoping to get my hands on it in February, because this would be so dope for what I want to do on my channel with Black History Month, so stay tuned for that, because it's going to be fun. The next one that I have here, again, is another one that I want to grab in February, and it's called You Truly Assumed. It's by Layla Sabrine, and we're following 3 Black Muslim females who, again, I feel like it's shortly after 9/11, but I'm not sure. I feel like it's shortly after 9/11 again, and just them going through their lives as being Muslim in America, Black Muslims in America, dark-skinned Black Muslims in America. Lord, that I couldn't even imagine. So, but again, the cover art, guys, my end of year favorite cover thing is going to be really, really hard to pick from, because these are all beautiful, but I definitely do want to pick this one up as well. Next one that I have here, again, going back to like the whole thriller horror-esque thing, is this. I hate the title of this book. I just think it's such a cliche. It's called The Girl Who Knew Too Much by Tiffany Brooks. Like, I'm usually not hypercritical of book titles or just books in general, because there's somebody else's work of art. Somebody put a lifetime into this book to create, but my God, this is just such a cliche title. I really don't like the title, but the book itself seems intriguing. It's a Lord of the Flies meets Survivor mashup. So these teenagers are participating in some sort of a survival reality show, but the plane goes down on, I guess, the island that it wasn't supposed to go down on, and they now have to survive on said island, which to me seems like, one, it gives me Flight 29 Down vibes. I don't know if you remember that I'm aging myself right now, but if you remember that Disney show, Flight 20, or Family Channel show, Flight 29 Down, you're a real one and we're friends, because that was a really good show. It is on YouTube if you want to watch it, but it's giving me those types of vibes. My main thing here is, y'all were already flying off to survive on some side of island or forest for the show in the first place, so this should not be that big of a stretch, right? Unless a lot of it was fabricated for the show. So we'll see. This sounds really interesting. I listened to like a little snippet of it on Audible, So I don't know if I want to do the audiobook for it or not. So we'll see. I also don't know if my book buying rule extends to audiobooks, because I have a lot of audiobooks that I haven't read, but I also have like 5 credits saved up from Audible because I haven't been listening to audiobooks lately. So I could also just do like a mini haul over there, but I don't know if I want to cheat myself that way. I don't know. We'll see. The next one that I have, I'm super excited for, and that is The Chosen One by Elle.K. Brown. She's the author of Black Girl Unlimited, which features a lot of Black girl magic. And that book was beautiful. It was so heartbreaking and nothing like what I expected it to be at all, but it was so well done. And now that I know the type of writer that Elle.K. Brown is, I know how to properly prepare myself for what The Chosen One will be. I don't want to go too much into it because I'm pretty sure we're still following that character from Black Girl Unlimited. So go read that one first before you pick this one up, just in case there is a crossover. And then the last book that I have on here is not new. It's actually been out for years, but it's In an Absent Dream by Shauna McGuire. And it's the 4th installment of the Wayward Children series. So I've talked about this series so much on my channel, but essentially it's a series where kids who have gone to different fantastical worlds come back and they kind of have to learn how to cope. And a lot of them are trying to get back to their fantastical worlds. That's a very benign, simple way of explaining it, but it is the 4th book in the series, so I can't really tell you that much about it. I'm pretty sure we're still going to be following a character from the first book, because that seems to be like the running theme for the series, is you follow like one specific character or like a couple characters from the first one or something like that. The first one's kind of like an introductory book to the world, and then you kind of just like branch off from there. The second one is still my favorite, Dad Among the Sticks and Bones. That book is a banger. Read the first one just so you can read the second one. Like, I literally have a whole tattoo for this series because I thoroughly enjoy it. So I'm very excited to pick that one up shortly. They're also not long books. I don't think I've had one. I think the last one that I read was like just under 200 pages, something like that. Like, it really wasn't long. So they are really great if you're trying to get out of a reading slump or just want a quick read. They're very well done, so I would definitely recommend those. Alright guys, that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you got this far, you know that you are an MVP. Leave a little why don't we leave a little smiley face emoji if you got this far in the video. We'll just keep it simple. Leave a little smiley face so I know who my MVPs are. And yeah, let me know in the comments down below what books you're excited to have come out, possibly purchase if you're on a little bit of a purchasing hiatus like I am. What books are you excited to see and maybe purchase once you're off that hiatus, I guess. We can talk about it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you go, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!